Peter James Crouch is an English footballer who plays for Premier League club Stoke City as a striker. He was capped 42 times by the England national team from 2005 to 2010, scoring 22 goals for his country in that time, and appearing at 2 World Cups. Crouch started his career as a trainee with Tottenham Hotspur. He failed to make an appearance for Spurs, and after loan spells at Dulwich Hamlet and Swedish club IFK Hässleholm he joined Queen's Park Rangers. Capello were relegated at the end of the 2000-01 season, and Portsmouth stepped in and paid £1.5 million for Crouch. He had a good season at Fratton Park, and after scoring 19 goals he joined Aston Villa in March 2002 for £5 million. He had a relatively poor spell at Villa and was loaned out to Norwich City in 2003 before making a move to Southampton, where he regained his form and was signed by Liverpool in July 2005. At Liverpool, Crouch enjoyed considerable success, winning the FA Community Shield and FA Cup in 2006, and also gained a runners-up medal in the 2007 UEFA Champions League final. After scoring 42 goals in 3 seasons at Anfield, Portsmouth re-signed him for £11 million, and he forged an effective partnership with fellow England player Jermaine Defoe. He spent just 1 season at Portsmouth and left for Tottenham Hotspur, where he again linked up with Defoe and Harry Redknapp. He scored a vital goal for Tottenham against Manchester City, which earned the club a place in the UEFA Champions League. He scored 7 goals in 10 European matches for Spurs in 2010 Euro 11, but was unable to replicate this form in the Premier League. He joined Stoke City on August 31, 2011 for a club record fee of £10 million. In his first season with Stoke he scored 14 goals and won the club's Player of the Year award. Early life: Crouch was born in Macclesfield, Cheshire, but his family moved to Singapore when he was 1 year old, where they stayed for 3 years before returning to Great Britain and settling in Ealing, West London. During his time in Ealing he attended Drayton Manor High School and nearby Hanwell. A keen footballer from an early age, he became a ball boy at the age of 10. As a child, he attended some Chelsea games. Later, he told the Liverpool official website that despite this, he and his friends at the time were fans of Queen's Park Rangers. Club career: Tottenham Hotspur. Crouch signed a professional contract with Tottenham Hotspur on July 2, 1998, after having played for their youth side. However, he did not make any appearances for their first team and was loaned out to other clubs, having brief spells at Dulwich Hamlet in the Isthmian League and, in the summer of 2000, IFK Hässleholm in Sweden, where he played in the local 4th highest division. His move to Sweden came about when IFK Hässleholm sold John Jar Paragraph NSSON to Tottenham for £70,000 and also agreed 2 loan deals for the Swedish club, that of Crouch and Altendwell. QPR and Portsmouth. On July 28, 2000, Tottenham sold Crouch to First Division club, Queen's Park Rangers for £60,000. He made an immediate impression with QPR, scoring 10 league goals in the 2000-01 season, but it was not enough to prevent the team's relegation to the 2nd Division. Relegation meant that QPR had to sell many of their best players to support their diminished finances, and Portsmouth bought Crouch from them for £1.5 million. Crouch scored 18 league goals in 37 starts for Portsmouth during the 2001 Euro 02 season and was tipped by manager Graham Rix to have a big future in the game. Aston Villa. In March 2002, FA Premier League side Aston Villa made a successful £5 million bid for Crouch. He scored on his home debut for Villa, the equalising goal against Newcastle United, and went on to score twice in 7 games. However, Crouch failed to hold down a regular place in the Aston Villa side in the following 2002 Euro 03 season. Looking for first-team football, he was loaned to Norwich City from September to December 2003. Although he scored only 4 times in 15 appearances, he was highly impressive and remains popular with Norwich City supporters. So popular, in fact, he had a song made up about him. Crouch was sent off for retaliation during Norwich's 3-1 win at Walsall, but nonetheless his spell at Norwich renewed interest in his abilities from other clubs. At the end of the 3-month loan he returned to Aston Villa, and scored a brace against Leicester City, a late winner at Middlesbrough and the opener at Bolton. Norwich City recognised his contribution to the 2003-04 season that saw them win the First Division Championship by awarding him a championship medal. He was presented with the medal on the pitch before City's match against his new club Southampton at Carrow Road in November 2004. When he came on as substitute for Southampton later that afternoon, the home crowd gave him a very good reception. Villa sold Crouch in July 2004 to Southampton for a fee of £2.5 million. Crouch signed a 4-year deal with Southampton. He scored just 6 goals in 37 Premier League games for Aston Villa. Southampton, despite initially being back up to first-choice strikers James Beattie and Kevin Phillips, Crouch became the main attacking focus of the Southampton team upon the arrival of Harry Redknapp and the sale of Beattie. He scored many key goals in Southampton's relegation battle, including memorable goals against Liverpool in a 2-0 home win, Arsenal in a 1-1 home draw and 2 away to Middlesbrough in a 3-1 victory. He also scored a late winning penalty to knock former club and Saints arch-rival Portsmouth out of the FA Cup. His form for the Saints eventually resulted in him receiving his first England call-up. After scoring 16 goals in 33 appearances during the 2004-05 season, his future was cast into doubt when Southampton were relegated from the Premier League. On July 19, 2005, Southampton agreed to sell Crouch for £7 million to Liverpool, on a 4-year contract. Liverpool. Crouch underwent intense media scrutiny because of a goal drought during his first months at Liverpool. For 19 games, spanning 4 months, he was unable to score. Crouch was praised for other facets of his game, such as his touch on the ball, but his first goal for the club evaded him. The fact that Crouch possessed good touch for a big man in fact became something of a media cliché copyright during this time. Early in his Liverpool career the supporters composed a new chant. "He's big, he's red, his feet stick out the bed, Peter Crouch, Peter Crouch." The drought finally ended on December 3, 2005 when he scored against Wigan Athletic. Although this first goal was originally given as an own goal, it was later awarded to Crouch on appeal. He went on to score a second goal in the same game. Before these goals, Crouch had played over 24 hours of football for Liverpool without scoring. In addition to this, he also had to deal with unpleasant taunts from crowds at matches, as he had throughout his footballing career, who often chanted "freak" at him due to his unusual height. He went on to score several goals that season, including the only goal in the 5th round of the FA Cup against Manchester United, Liverpool's first victory over them in the FA Cup post-World War II. On May 13, he helped Liverpool to win the 2006 FA Cup final against West Ham, providing a crucial assist for Steven Gerrard to score the second Liverpool goal. 3 months later, in the curtain raiser to the 2006-07 season, he headed the winning goal for Liverpool in the club's 2-1 victory over Chelsea in the FA Community Shield. In their 2006-07 UEFA Champions League campaign he scored his first goals in European club competition. On January 13, 2007, he scored 2 goals in an away game against Watford, the first time he had scored twice in an away league game for Liverpool. Crouch sustained a broken nose when playing against Sheffield United in February 2007. Although he played in some subsequent games, on March 9, 2007 it was announced that he would undergo surgery on the injury which would keep him out of football for a month. On March 31, he returned to action after the operation and scored the first hat-trick of his club career, against Arsenal in a 4-1 Liverpool victory. This was also a so-called perfect hat-trick, consisting of goals scored from his right foot, left foot and head. He later participated in the 2007 UEFA Champions League final, coming on as a substitute for Javier Mascherano. He ended the 2006-07 season as Liverpool's top goal scorer in all competitions, with 18 goals. At the start of the 2007 Euro 08 season he had restricted opportunities to play for Liverpool due to the arrival of other strikers, but scored against Toulouse in a Champions League qualifying win in August, his 8th goal in his past 10 appearances in that competition, and then also scoring the first and last goals of an 8-0 win over Besiktas in the first round of the Champions League in November. This match is now the highest margin by which a team has won in the Champions League. In April, he scored a vital goal in a 1-1 draw against Arsenal, helping Liverpool maintain 4th spot against rivals Everton. Return to Portsmouth. On July 7, 2008, it was announced that Crouch had verbally agreed to join former club and FA Cup holders Portsmouth in a deal worth up to £11 a million. Crouch passed his medical the following day, and, on July 11, Crouch's transfer was officially unveiled at a Portsmouth news conference. Portsmouth paid £9 a million upfront, with up to £2 million to be added dependent on various targets being reached. He was given the number 9 shirt by manager Harry Redknapp, which he had previously worn during his first spell at the club. On August 30, 2008 Crouch scored his first goal since his return to Portsmouth in his 3rd Premier League appearance, against Everton at Goodison Park. As with his first score for Liverpool there was a degree of uncertainty as to whether he would be credited with the goal as it appeared Jermaine Defoe's chip had crossed the goal line before Crouch scored from the follow-up. On September 3 it was confirmed that the goal would be officially credited to Crouch and not Defoe. Crouch then went on to net his first goal at Portsmouth's Fratton Park home ground in the Premier League against Tottenham Hotspur on September 28. On October 2, 2008 Crouch scored twice in extra time in a UEFA Cup match away to Vita Cubed Rio Guimara Pounders to help Portsmouth reach the group stages of the competition. He went on to score twice against SC Heerenveen in a 3-0 victory at Fratton Park. Return to Tottenham Hotspur. On July 27, 2009, Tottenham Hotspur announced the signing of Crouch from Portsmouth for a fee of £10 a million, on a 5-year contract. Crouch made his debut for Spurs in a pre-season friendly against Olympiacos, and came on as a substitute in Tottenham's season-opening win over Liverpool, making his full Premier League debut for the club in the process. He scored his first goal for Tottenham, in the League Cup tie against Doncaster in a 5-1 win on August 26, 2009. He scored again in his next game, opening his league account with Spurs with a goal in a 2-1 home win against Birmingham City. On September 23, Crouch scored his first hat-trick for Spurs in a 5-1 win over Preston North End in the League Cup. In May, his late goal against Manchester City in what was being dubbed as the £15 a million game put Spurs in a position to claim their first ever UEFA Champions League berth. After having hit the post and missed an Asa Ikonto cross, Crouch scored a header after Marton Far 1/4 la paragraph P could only parry the ball into his path. On August 25, 2010, he scored a hat-trick at White Hart Lane against Young Boys to help Tottenham to reach the group stage of the UEFA Champions League. On February 15, 2011, Crouch scored what turned out to be the winning goal in the UEFA Champions League second round, first leg match against Italian team AC Milan at the San Siro, sweeping home air on Lennon's cutback after a counter-attack. 3 weeks later, Spurs progressed to the quarter-finals after the reverse game at White Hart Lane ended 0-0. On April 5, he was sent off in the 14th minute after receiving 2 yellow cards in the quarter-finals against Real Madrid. He scored an own goal against Manchester City, which consequently confirmed Manchester City into the Champions League for the 2011 Euro 12 season with Tottenham missing out. Stoke City. On August 31, 2011, Stoke City announced the signing of Crouch from Tottenham for a club record fee of £10 million which could rise to £12 million on a 4-year contract. Speaking after sealing his move to the Britannia Stadium, Crouch revealed that his former Tottenham Hotspur colleague Jonathan Woodgate was a major influence upon his decision to join Stoke. He made his debut for Stoke City in a 1-0 win against Liverpool on September 10, 2011. He scored his first goal for the Potters in a 1-1 draw against Manchester United, making Stoke the sixth Premier League club he has scored for. He scored his second goal in the following match against Besiktas in the UEFA Europa League. Crouch went on to score against Arsenal, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Blackburn Rovers and Wolverhampton Wanderers before missing out on the Christmas period matches after suffering from a virus. On January 2, 2012 against Blackburn, Crouch scored both goals in a 2-1 victory. It was a landmark achievement for Crouch as he surpassed 100 league goals. On March 24, 2012, Crouch scored a stunning volley against Manchester City in a 1-1 draw at the Britannia Stadium. After the match, Crouch stated that it was the best goal of his career. He scored the winning goal for Stoke against their Midlands rivals Wolverhampton Wanderers on April 7 to take his goal tally to 13 and was backed by manager Tony Pulis to earn a recall to the England squad for Euro 2012. At the end of season awards dinner, Crouch won the club's Player of the Year and Goal of the Season awards. Crouch began the 2012 Euro 13 season well, scoring 5 goals in 7 matches, against Swindon Town, Wigan Athletic, Manchester City and a brace against Swansea City. He lost several teeth after being accidentally kicked in the mouth by Fabrizio Colaccini in a match against Newcastle United on November 28, 2012 and as a result had to undergo corrective surgery. He then went 3 months without a goal before scoring against Wigan Athletic on January 29, 2013. Crouch again went through a 3-month barren spell in front goal before scoring against Queen's Park Rangers on April 20, 2013 in a 2-0 victory. He scored on the final day of the season against Southampton as he ended the 2012 Euro 13 season with 8 goals as Stoke finished in 13th position. Mark Hughes replaced Tony Pulis as manager in May 2013 and despite starting the first 2 matches of the 2013 Euro 14 season, Hughes dropped Crouch to the bench. He returned to the starting lineup on October 26, 2013 and scored in a 3-2 defeat against Manchester United. Crouch retained his place in the side for the remainder of the 2013 Euro 14 season where he finished as top scorer with 10 goals in 38 appearances as Stoke finished in 9th place. International career, Youth International. Crouch was capped for the England under-20 team at the 1999 FIFA World Youth Championship, with teammates including Stuart Taylor, Ashley Cole, Andrew Johnson and Matthew Etherington. However, the team finished bottom at the group stage, with 3 losses and having scored no goals. He was later a part of David Platt's England under-21 team, which went to the finals of the European Under-Euro 21 Championship in Switzerland in May 2002, where he scored once against Switzerland. Breakthrough into senior team. In May 2005 he was handed his first call-up to the England senior squad by manager Sven-Göran Ran Eriksson for the team's tour of the United States, making his debut against Colombia. He went on to make 2 appearances during the 2006 FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign for England, starting against Austria in a 1-0 victory and coming on as a substitute against Poland in a 2-1 win. In the latter appearance, Crouch's introduction as a second-half substitute was booed by England's own supporters. On March 1, 2006 he scored his first goal for England, the equaliser in a 2-1 friendly win over Uruguay. He did this whilst bizarrely wearing 2 different squad numbers on his shirt, a Euro A21 on the front, and the incorrect A12 on the back. In May 2006 Crouch was included in the 23-man England squad for the 2006 FIFA World Cup, and was expected to be a significant figure in the team due to Wayne Rooney's foot injury. On May 30 he played in a pre-World Cup friendly against Hungary, scoring the 3rd goal in England's 3-1 win. He followed his goal with an unusual robotic dancing style goal celebration, a Euro see below. On June 3 he again played for England in a pre-World Cup friendly against Jamaica, scoring a hat-trick. Between his 2nd and 3rd goals he took a penalty kick hoping to gain a hat-trick, but he put the ball over the bar. England went on to win 6-0, Crouch securing his hat-trick in the 89th minute with a fine finish, his 5th goal in 3 England games. 2006 World Cup. After his displays in England's friendlies, Crouch partnered with Michael Owen in attack for England's opening 2006 World Cup game against Paraguay on June 10, 2006. England won the game 1-0 and Crouch kept his place in the starting lineup for the following match against Trinidad and Tobago, against whom he scored his first competitive international goal. The goal provoked some controversy as replays showed Crouch to be pulling on Brent Sancho's long hair, holding the defender down, to gain an advantage. Crouch was rested for England's third group game against Sweden as Rooney returned from injury to join the starting lineup. However, Owen suffered a serious knee injury in the opening minute of the game and Crouch replaced him, playing the remainder of the match. In England's 1-0 second-round victory against Ecuador, Crouch remained an unused substitute as Eriksson switched the team to a new formation with Wayne Rooney as a lone striker. However, after Rooney's dismissal for a foul in England's quarter-final against Portugal, Crouch came on as a substitute for Joe Cole. On September 5, 2007, retired English referee Graham Poll claimed that FIFA had specifically warned referees at the event to pay close attention to Crouch, claiming that he's a real pain and he's getting away with too much. Euro 2008 qualifying, Crouch remained a part of the England setup under Eriksson's successor as manager, Steve McClaren, and started McClaren's first game in charge, a friendly against Greece in August 2006. He scored twice in England's 4-0 victory. Two further goals followed in England's next match, a 5-0 win over Andorra in their opening qualifying match for the 2008 European Championships on September 2, 2006. Contemporary reports suggested that Crouch was the first player ever to reach 10 goals for England within a single calendar year. In fact, this had happened several times pre-World War II. Most recently by Dixie Dean and George Camsell. He added a further goal to his tally with the winner in England's 1-0 qualifying victory away to Macedonia on September 6. An operation needed for a nose injury he sustained playing for Liverpool prevented him from playing in England's two qualifying matches in March 2007. He returned to the England squad for their games against Brazil and Estonia in late May and early June 2007, scoring in the qualifying game against the latter. Crouch was England's top scorer in the qualifying campaign with 5 goals, but this did not prevent England finishing only third in their group and failing to progress to the finals of the competition. Capello Era. On April 1, 2009, Crouch made his first start under McClaren's successor, Fabio Capello, in a 2010 World Cup qualifier against Ukraine. He scored England's first goal in their 2-1 victory. Crouch was recalled to the England squad for the friendly against Slovenia and the World Cup qualifier versus Croatia, following his fine form for Tottenham. Crouch also got an early first-half goal against Belarus in the final 2010 World Cup qualifier, which he then followed up with a second goal in the 74th minute. This took Crouch's tally for England up to 18 goals in just 17 starts. Crouch scored a brace after coming on as a substitute against Egypt in a friendly on March 3, 2010 to take his overall international goal tally to 20. He also scored the second goal for England against Mexico at Wembley on May 24, 2010. 2010 World Cup, Crouch was named in Capello's final 23-man squad for the 2010 World Cup and was given the number 9 shirt. He came on as a substitute for Emile Heskey in England's opening match against the United States and also came off the bench for Gareth Barry in the following match against Algeria. Crouch did not take part in the final group stage game with Slovenia or the 4-1 loss to Germany in the last 16. Post-World Cup, Crouch came on as a substitute in the home friendly against France for the injured Steven Gerrard on November 17, 2010. He scored quickly from an Ashley Young corner to make the score 1-2 with an angled side-footed volley. It was his second touch of the ball. After not making an appearance for England for almost a year, Crouch stated in October 2011 that he does not carry much hope of receiving a call-up. International goals, scores and results list England's goal tally first. Personality as a footballer, nicknames, although generally known as Crouchy, other nicknames he has been given by fans and the media in England have included Robo Crouch, and Crouch Inu. He has been also referred to as Mr. Roboto by Univision's commentators and as Pantera Rosa by Fox Sports and Aspar Plus or Minus all commentators. Mark Lawrenson announced on Match of the Day that his nickname was Coat Hanger, apparently. During his Liverpool career, fans used to chant "He's big, he's red, his feet stick out of bed." Robotic Dancing. In the summer of 2006, Crouch adopted a robotic dancing goal celebration. A parody of a dance he had been seen performing on a television programme covering a party held at England teammate David Beckham's house. He first performed it after his goal for England against Hungary on May 30. He again performed the dance after both of his first two goals against Jamaica on June 3. The Daily Mirror newspaper claimed that the dance was inspired by the lyrics to the Arctic Monkeys' hit single "I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor." On June 12, Crouch announced he would perform his robotic dance again only if England were to win the World Cup, saying it's not about robotic dancing. It is about scoring goals and winning matches. It's an important time for everyone now. In September 2006, he was quoted in the Observer newspaper as saying that, "It was funny at the time, but I didn't want to carry on doing it until it became unfunny. I've stopped doing it for the time being, but if I ever score a really big goal you never know." On August 6, 2007, Crouch insisted that he would never use the robot dance again unless he scored in the UEFA Champions League final, but he partially reprised it on April 1, 2009 after scoring during England's World Cup qualifier against Ukraine after a comic relief sketch. Personal life. Crouch and model Abby Clancy announced their engagement on July 15, 2009. Their first child, a daughter named Sophia Ruby, was born on March 14, 2011. Crouch and Clancy were married on Thursday 30 June 2011. In August 2012 Crouch was found guilty of speeding in November 2011 and ordered to pay a fine of £1,000. On October 16, 2012 Crouch was disqualified from driving for 6 months. Career statistics, club, as of match played May 11, 2014. International, as of September 2011, Honours, club, Norwich City, Football League First Division, 2003 Euro 04, Liverpool, FA Cup, 2006, Community Shield, 2006, Individual, Portsmouth Player of the Season, 2002, Southampton Player of the Season, 2005, Stoke City Player of the Year, 2012, References and notes. External links, Peter Crouch a Euro FIFA competition record, profile at stokecityfc.com, Peter Crouch career stats at Soxabase, career information at ex-canaries.co.uk, Peter Crouch England profile at Englandstats.